Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gluttons for Geekdom Live. I am Nick James, and today we are going to be talking about some dinosaurs, some really awesome stuff with Jurassic Park, and we're going to get to Jurassic World at the very end, but we have to start at the very beginning. Did you know it's a book? It's actually a novel, yes. You know, a novel, just for those younger viewers who know, it's text messages that they put on paper, and they put them into chapters, and it's great. Go to a library, you can find many of them. My attempted humor, excuse me. So, the novel came out, Michael Crichton, either way, he wrote it November 20th, 1990, so at that point, I was 2 months old, just about. So I can't say that I read it when it came out. I can't even say I saw the first movie when it came out, because that one came out in 1993. Before we jump into that, we should say that right after that, after 93, there is The Lost World. So yes, they wrote a book, and then he wrote a second book, and that one is called The Lost World, and that was September 8th, 1995. Like I said, Steven Spielberg fought for the rights, and he bought them for like $1 million or $1 billion. No, at that point it couldn't have been. It was like $1.5 million, I think. And he really wanted to do it because who couldn't? And he made all this technology, and it's one of the first things to really bring in heavy CGI. But at the same time, it's not too heavy because there was still a lot of practical work. I mean, that Triceratops that you see Alan leaning on, and he does the whoa because he's riding the ribs. That's really awesome. That's real. And a funny thing that sparked that is, like, he took a picture, Steven Spielberg, took a picture in front of it, and somebody made a meme out of it, like, can you believe this man shot the last living Triceratops, like, freaking men, and people really responded, like, this is gross, how dare he kill that beautiful animal, and, like, it went around for a while without people going, it's a dinosaur, guys, but just, whatever. So that was, June 11th, 1993, we get Sam Neill, and he comes in as Grant. Laura Dern comes in as Dr. Sattler, and that's the first thing we see. And like when I watched the movie as a kid, like I said, 93, if you can keep up chronologically, I was about 3 when it came out, so I don't think I saw it in theaters. But growing up on it, I just remember thinking, like, that's when the movie really started. It was like just waiting for the freaking helicopter, because that's when Grant comes to take them and show them to Jurassic Park. Not Grant. Grant gets taken. Richard Attenborough plays the billionaire who creates it and spares no expense, except when it comes to computer programmers. In the book, if you've read the book, John Hammond, excuse me, is his name. He's kind of a dick. They made him a much more likable character for this movie. He's not very nice in the book. As far as the book goes, too, if you want to talk a little weird side chat, in the book, there are the 2 kids, his grandkids. But the girl character is the most whiny, annoying character, and they leave it all to her younger brother. And he's the one who does the computer stuff at the end, and he's got all the knowledge. In the movie, thankfully, somebody said, let's give her more to do. Excuse me. He was still the dinosaur boy, but she had taken over as the tech girl in the movie. So that's how that one went down. And thankfully it did, because like I said, she was annoying to listen to, because Audible did while I was at work. She was annoying to listen to during that thing. We also get Jeff Goldblum, and he joins us for the Jurassic World, which is number 2. I think it's Lost World, Jurassic Park. Again, we had Steven Spielberg come back for that. We get Julianne Moore in that flick, who does well, and like he's got a kid, Jeff Goldblum, and I don't like it. I'm not really going to talk about it too long. Bobby Bridges could probably talk about it forever because he loves this. He is our resident expert on the Jurassic Park, and when we do a full podcast, just expect it to be the Bobby Bridges show, if you will. And me and Rick are going to sit back and, like, not because we can't talk, it's because we will just want to sit and listen to him talk about how much he freaking loves Jurassic Park. But for me, 2 just didn't hit the same way. Alan Grant comes back for the 3rd one, so maybe at the time when I was young, I was like, this doesn't count. It doesn't have the main guy in it. But number 3 sits with me a lot better because, again, we do get Sam Neill back, and it's familiar and it's comforting. We also get William H. Macy. And he's great. Tia Leone coming for that one. Joe Johnston. See, this Spielberg didn't get this one, or he didn't want it, I don't think, by the time it really rolled around theaters. That was July 18th, 2001. So by the time that came out, I don't think he really wanted much to do with it at that point anymore. We got somebody live. I think it's probably Bobby. Yeah, it is Bobby. What's up, Bobby? See, I'm telling you, Bobby Deuce is just sitting right now watching this going, oh, God, I want to be talking about. So, like I said, when we do the podcast, it's going to be great. Just wait for that. He's going to go ham on it. Joe Johnston got that one, and I like it better. I don't know what I don't like about the second one. Maybe it's because it's like the whole Mighty Joe Young feel at the end, or a King Kong or a Godzilla. You know, it just goes, so, oh, giant monster in the streets. Well, no, I've seen that. I'd say it happened. But the third one I thought was really original. We get Alan Grant back, and he's got to go find the kid who's lost there because he was parasailing where he shouldn't have been. And again, maybe just for the time it was. By then, I know for sure at 11 years old I saw that one in the theater. So maybe it was just not 11-year-olds running around Jurassic. I would be that kid to do that too. Even though in real life, if Jurassic Park was real, like if we want to take the settings of if they create one in this universe, our universe right now, would I go? No, haven't you seen the movies? Something always bad happens. Now, if I was in the universe of this movie, where these movies don't happen, the book isn't real, and they're like, wow, we found a way to make dinosaurs come to our park, I'd still hesitate. I mean, we have seen videos of like gorillas pounding on the grass and like getting out. Anytime a wild animal gets out of a zoo, most of the time its first instinct is to just grab the people that it's looking at and just freaking just mess with them. So if it's going to happen with the dinosaur. You know, they even say it in Jurassic World. We knew this was going to happen. And the guy was the smartest guy in the room, goes, you should put that in the brochure. You know, something may get out and go, or it's eventuality that something will get out and kill you. I don't think I'd go. So anyway, he was parasailing. He didn't even know. I wouldn't do that. By the end, we are wrapped up again. And it is not until recently that we got Jurassic World, where it is that universe A that I talked about, where the first park did happen and they rolled in and said, all right, no, John Hammond had a good idea, but this is what we're doing. And create an entire world around it now. And it runs very smoothly, and we have Bryce Dallas Howard. DH or... Yeah, no, I'm sorry. And Chris Pratt in this film are really, they carry the whole thing. They are awesome. Chemistry between them is awesome, and you knew when like she heard his voice, like, you're like, oh, they used to date or something, because it was obvious at the beginning. It played well, like you knew that they were going to be together, and you weren't even rooting for him. It was just like, it was kind of like that. It was like the freaking people in high school. You're like, will you just freaking do it already? Will you just get together already, please? Because that's what it was like. For me, anyway. I liked it. They put in so many references to the first one. We see the DNA man. We see countless references to the first park, as in like the same smart guy who was doing the first one, and you know, he had all the dinosaurs lined up. Hold on, we got an insight from Bobby. What do we got? I'd be at the park in a second. Bobby Deuce would go to the park in a second. Of course Bobby Deuce would go to the park in a second. He's out of his mind. Dying in space and not being eaten by dinosaurs aren't big enough reasons not to explore these areas. No, I wouldn't die in space or get eaten by areas, and that's a perfect reason, Bobby Deuce, for Nick James not to do either of them. Thank you. By the way, like I said, we're going to do a podcast about this too. If you want to listen to more than just me talk, Bobby Deuce, Rick Classic. Rick Classic has his own show. Bobby Deuce has his own show coming. But we sit down and we make whole podcasts that you can find on Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube. So go and check that out. If you want to talk into more about what we're going to talk about here, let us know on Facebook or tweet us. And sometimes we put nice pictures up on Instagram, Gluttons for Geekdom. That's been it. I've been talking about dinosaurs for a while. Bobby Deuce got to talk about dinosaurs for a while. We're going to sit down. We're going to be talking about dinosaurs a lot for now. Nick James, join us tomorrow. Talk about the cup. The cup of water with the doom, doom. I guess he wants me to talk about the cup with the most iconic scene that really brought imagery to cinematography. I guess, you know, we have the cup of water. Do you know how that was done, actually? They couldn't actually find something heavy enough, so it was done with sound from speakers underneath. But he's talking about when we first see the T-Rex that comes up out of an area that later turns into a trench. He somehow walks out of it. And you see the ripples in the water. And you see the ripples in the water. And it's again, it is one of the most iconic cinematography that we've seen, and it puts Steven Spielberg even more on the map. One more thing, actually. Thanks, Bobby. While he was doing this, he was in post-production on Schindler's List. Like, he was literally flying back and forth to make 2 movies at once. And those movies are Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. 2 of the most critically acclaimed, beautiful movies on the planet. And both, like, you would never assume, oh, the Holocaust movie guy that made me sit and, like, really question humanity, whereas the guy who was like, let's play with dinosaurs. It's pretty awesome. That's why Steven Spielberg is Steven Spielberg. But he is Steven Spielberg. I am Nick James. Come back, join us live at 5 tomorrow. I don't know for what yet. Why don't you type in and let me know. If not, I'm going to pick another fun topic that I want to talk about. Take care, guys. Gluttons for Geekdom Live.